on Delivered Live, Claire Hooper.
Thank you, 5 people. Thank you, the literally thousands of people watching at home. It is such a pleasure to be here in front of what I can only assume is the latest World Health Organization graph. It is so lovely to be here. And I have been observing strict social isolation for at least a month, and it just feels so exhilarating to now be about 5 centimetres away from a microphone that I don't know how many degenerate musicians have used before me. So I've undone so much good work. It really is lovely to be here. I will say this about isolation. How quickly does bin night come round? Like I guess it's because it's the only thing in my diary, but I'm just like, didn't we just bring it in? Like, is it because in the old world we used to break up bin night with 7 changes of clothes, and now bin night just happens every 0 changes of clothes? I don't think I've got anything to put in it. Nothing except these clothes I've been wearing for 7 days straight. Anyway, it is lovely to be here. It's so exciting to do a gig that you were watching at home in your leggings and then listening to the audio of in the car, and then you arrive and it's happening right in front of you. It is so much fun. And I know that this won't be the messaging that the Delivered Live people are giving you. They will be telling you it's just as good at home. It's not. It's so great to be here. I'm really excited to be out of the house. Also, big thanks to Henry for having me on, and a lot of love to everyone who bought tickets. You are legends. You are philanthropists. Thank you for supporting something that is going to keep artists employed. And a special salute to those of you who have invited your children to watch with you. I hope you're proud of yourself. You've just endured a few days of homeschooling, and now I will homeschool your children for you. I have so much to teach them. I don't. I'm a very clean comedian. I don't swear. I certainly don't use the C word anymore. Not now I have 2 little C words of my own at home. I love them. They're 4 and 6, and I love them. I have to. I can't get them back up again. But man, I was not psychologically prepared for parenthood. So shout out to all the parents. People who don't have kids, well done. But I will explain what it feels like to have babies. So, you know that feeling when you go to the grocery store and you buy more than you went there to buy, and then when you walk out, you remember you didn't drive, you walked? So it's that feeling forever. Like, you're not going to leave them in the bushes, but you do find yourself looking at the bushes. So here I am. I'm in Melbourne, and my parents are watching. This is the first time I've done a Melbourne gig where my parents can watch in Perth. So hi, Mum and Dad. My dad is recently retired. He has taken up all sorts of new hobbies, and his favourite seems to be leaving the room in the middle of the conversation. He's gotten really good at that. I don't know if you have somebody at home in your lounge room that you don't. They're not in the lounge room anymore. They left at 8 o'clock to make a cup of tea and they never came back. We all know one of those older people. He's amazing. I did go to Perth recently, right before we couldn't go to Perth anymore. And gosh, it was so nice being in the presence of my parents. My dad was just continuing to be an absolute legend. He's got this new pair of thongs that he's really proud of. I'm like, what's with the thongs, Dad? And he goes, well, and he shows me this pair of thongs. They're like camo and raggedy around the edges. He's like, I always found thongs a bit too tight, so now I buy them 3 sizes too big and cut them down with secateurs. Now, that is the sort of genius idea that it takes a full 70 years to percolate, isn't it? You're not coming up with that at 35. You're walking around in thongs that are too tight going, well, they're not comfortable, but there's nothing I can do about it. Wrong. My dad's worked it out. Also, 35-year-olds are not walking around in thongs because they still care if people find them attractive. But can you just acknowledge the audacity of suggesting that thongs are a restrictive piece of footwear? Like, I always found thongs a bit too tight. Did you, Dad? Did you? What part of the no actual shoes did you find too tight? Like, I really do salute him for his bravery. I just love to imagine him bringing that pair of thongs home And I assume he traced around his little dad foot with texture and then cut him out, held him up to the light like a master craftsman, and then he did something that I still can't get my head around, and he chose not to throw them in the bin. What a great man. I can't wait till I'm as old as him. I hope I have such a wonderful mind. I'm not afraid of getting older. I'm really looking forward to it. My husband and I plan to grow old together. We're having our wedding anniversary on Monday. That'll be so exciting, So I plan to stay with my husband forever. We are so comfortable with each other. Like, the longer you stay together, the more comfortable you get. Like, the other day, he gave me silent treatment for ages and I didn't even notice. That's beautiful. He's a bit of romantic advice, actually. If you are in a relationship with someone that you think might go the distance, get a fart out before you get a ring on the finger. Because that's the one mistake I made in our relationship. I just never did one. And then I remember being on my wedding day and just thinking, I've left it too late. Like, I've allowed him to marry me thinking I'm some sort of magical creature. And now I've got to maintain. And it's very hard. If you don't want to fart in front of your partner, you have to fall asleep second every single night. Because you can't be first to lose consciousness if you've got something in the queue. Can you? It's actually absolutely ridiculous because I have had babies in front of that man. Like, you do a lot worse than a fart when you have a baby. I remember when I first heard that when you have a baby, you do a little bit of poo. My friend was telling me her delivery room story and it did not sit right with me. As somebody who doesn't fart in front of their husband, I did not want to hear that you do a little bit of poo. And she's telling me the story and she gets to that bit and I'm like, hang on, how did you know you did a little bit of poo? And she's like, my husband, he just went quiet. So he didn't tell her, he just went quiet. He was like, breathe, babe, that's it. I'm right here, you're doing great. Oh. That's how she knew the moment it happened. And I was horrified. I'm like, I don't even fart in front of this guy. I don't want to do that in front of him. What if it turns him off? What if it turns him on? I don't want to find that out either, right? Anyway, it turns out in the moment, you don't really care, do you? You're just like, get everything out. We'll work out what we want to keep later. Anyway, that was the whole homeschooling for your kids. Your mum didn't tell you were a twin, did she? She only kept the pretty one. I feel like my 10 minutes is up and yet I'm just so excited to be out of the house. Just keep going. Look, can I just say, I will finish on this, which is not even the best joke, which is not how comedy's done. You finish on a good one. But I want to tell you, because I am finding in ISO, no matter how much I love my husband, I'm spending so much time around him, I'm just taking all these little opportunities to feel really smug about being better than him at stupid things. Like, okay, every morning I make the bed and his sheets off his side of the bed. And every morning I just get this warm golden glow going, learn to sleep properly. Like, what a ridiculous thing to be proud of. But I'm like, he doesn't even know how to sleep properly. Sleep like me. Just go to sleep like this and wake up 7 hours later like this. Like, what's wrong with you? I would love to see the time-lapse footage of him asleep at night, just... Like, what is going on his side of the bed? This is the time-lapse footage of me. That's a little treat for people that just tuned into the YouTube feed. They're like, something's wrong with my feed. The other thing that I've noticed, and this is ridiculous to be proud of, but we so much better than him. Like, I hear him do a wee and it goes for like 30 minutes and I do not have time for that. I do a wee so fast that the other day he shouted through the door, what's going on in there? Like, I'm very fast. I'm a busy single mum with a husband. I don't have time for a long wee. I get it. I don't even aim for a long continuous stream. I just do one giant dollop and I'm done. Like a helicopter putting out a bushfire. Boosh, finished. Walk out like a hero. Anyway, is that a good joke to end on? I'm so thrilled to be out of the house. Thank you so much for having me.